Well, either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster.
Hello.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
You're gonna get your mind right.
Warning. Common sense incoming.
Alive. It's alive!
Warning, this contains explicit material suitable for children.
Great heavens! What kind of radio show is this?
This is the Blab.
Well, it's the kind of radio show that's not really on the radio because radio sucks, and we're going to talk a little bit about radio sucking in just a little while.
I love when we talk about sucking.
Because not that there's anything wrong
with that.
Welcome once again to the special Wednesday edition of the Blab. This week we're doing the Wednesday edition on Tuesday because one of us has a job and actually has to go to work from time to time.
Yes, I do.
And the rest of us just sits around and goes, well, okay, fine. You want to do it on Tuesday night? I don't really care. It's fine because most of the people who are enjoying the program are enjoying it in rebroadcast and
via
performances.
Download. Yes.
As my father used to say, in their own damn time. There's that. All right, right off the bat, I want to talk about romance. I want to talk about affection. I want to talk about true love.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a one-boy cuddly toy, my up, my down, my pride and joy, my best friend.
All right. I don't think it's any great shock to anybody that Donald went on a little trip overseas there, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But the main thing is this business with Kim Jong-un, okay? They're BFFs. They're very much in love.
Well.
And I just want to offer you this.
Everybody's got to have a friend.
I just want to offer you this. And I don't like these kinds of analogies because I'm always ragging on people when they kick back at me. I do this to you all the time when you come at me with stuff like, well, if I say, Donald sucks because fill in the blank, and you come back with a, yeah, but they all do, and I go, that shouldn't matter because. But that said, here's a fact of a factual. If anybody else.
Wait a minute, a fact of a factual?
A fact of a factual.
Okay.
If anybody else, a Clinton, pick a Clinton, any Clinton. A Bush, pick a Bush, any Bush. You know what? I swear to God, I'm gonna get a dinger bell or something on the pads. When you laugh, it's a 5-year-old alert. When you do that, or maybe a little voice, it's gonna go like a 5-year-old guy.
He said Bush.
It smells like burning. Yeah, he says Bush. You're Jake. This is. You know what?
Scott Edward Phelps, Dave Simmons, 1.5 Men. Your call. The Blab.
I'll cop to that.
You're Jake. You're Jake Harper. Or was it Harper? Yeah, you're Jake Harper.
I'm sorry.
All right. Anyway, pick a Bush, any Bush. Obama, it doesn't matter. If anybody on the planet pulled the shit that Donald pulls, okay, in basically cozying up to, not tough negotiation, not hard line like Kennedy and Khrushchev in Vienna in 1961. I mean, real hardline shit. No, this is just, it's a bromances, okay? He loves these guys. He admires these guys. He respects these guys, okay? If anybody else pulled that shit, there wouldn't be impeachment. There'd be lynch mobs, and they'd burn the White House to the ground. This whole business of American, and it's just, and there's nothing in my book that says there's any reason other than just to say, enough with this guy already.
Well, I don't think it's a bad thing that we are on negotiating and operating terms with North Korea because for so long they were going to nuke us. I mean, that was the perception, whether that's the reality or not, but that was the perception. Agreed?
I agree that.
No, that was the perception for so long. How he goes about it. Yeah.
Do you think seriously?
Yeah,
seriously.
I don't.
And I know
I'm not defending him. I am not defending him, but in my mind, I would rather.
Does it bother you?
Channels.
Does it bother you as an American that this guy? And I'm going to address this in a minute in a more formal fashion. Does it bother you at all that this guy denigrates so much of America, the institutions of, the agencies, the systems of, the operational procedures of, and he has nothing but praise and adoration, etc., for not only Kim Jong-un, but Putin and the Saudis, who managed to fly the planes into the buildings, and et cetera, et cetera. And this is the kind of thing, this transcends policy difference. It even transcends political differences. And I don't want to throw the word treason out because that gets overused.
Yeah, it does.
And it's too overly melodramatic. But it's like I sit here and I go, you know what? Everything's a blank check with this clown. He does what he does. It's outrageous. And you, again, I didn't let you answer the question. Does it bother you at all, or are you going to find some rationalization in the fact that at least we're negotiating with them?
Well, some of the things bother me, but I mean, at least we're negotiating, and maybe in Trump's twisted mind, if he's my BFF, he won't nuke me. I mean, maybe that's...
Which brings me to the next question. Do you think for a single second that Putin, especially...
Putin's a thug. I told you that
before.
No.
Yeah. But do you think for a single second that Putin, specifically, probably Kim Jong-un, he doesn't strike me as a bright light, but he's not. He's obviously just whatever else he is. And all the rest of these. Do you not think for a single second that they're not playing Donald Trump for the idiot that he is? Do you think they don't recognize what we recognize in him, that he's a clown and he's a buffoon and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and they're setting him up or whatever it is they're doing? They don't take him. Do you think for a single second they take him seriously for a single second?
Yes, I do. I do. And I'll tell you why. In negotiating, if they could come up with some sort of a trade agreement with China, they have to. They're taking him serious because he's slapped them with a tariff. So, I mean, he's put sanctions on Russia. He's been harsher on Russia than any president in recent memory with the sanctions against Russia.
I don't see Russia seriously damaged or wounded by the process, and I don't see anybody benefiting from the tariffs except, once again, the thing. I'm not saying he's a great foreign policy president. No, he's not. He's not Nixon. But... Well, he's a showboater. I'll give him that.
Yeah, well, he's got a flair for the
the
pizzazz.
I've never disputed that. My problem with him is that that's all he's got.
Yeah, I don't like when he runs down this. He thinks he knows more than the CIA and the FBI. That's.
Yeah. All right. The Kim Jong-un thing is when he.
He's a funny little man.
Kim Jong? Sure he is. Well, those kind of people. Anybody that's going to throw their uncle into the pit with the wild dogs has got to have a wacky sense of humor. I mean, come on.
And he killed his brother.
What happened to his brother?
Blowed up good. Blowed up real good.
Yeah. All right. I sit there and I watch this, and this crap about going into North Korea. I'm the first sitting president to ever go into North Korea. And so he went 20 paces into North Korea and shagged his fat ass back out again because he's not stupid. After a fashion. But let me tell you, I wanted to just share this as the little mini editorial piece, okay? And then I'm going to show you the picture, wherever the hell the picture is. Where is it? Oh, there it is. All right. I wanted to just read this to you. And
read it with me?
Read this with you and share this with you, some thoughts real quick. And tonight, there's other stuff. I got other stuff on the thing. You got other stuff. We're not going to do Donald all the time, I promise. The folks who are with us, hi, nice to see you. This is an open letter that I saw, and I want to share this with you real quick. It's pretty short, based on the Kim Jong-un stuff and everything else that's going on, and especially with the election coming. To those to which this applies, he covets and he nurtures relationships with murdering despot dictators while he turns a deaf ear and a middle finger in the direction of American leadership in the intelligence community, law enforcement, the judicial system, the free press, and you still support him. He endorses the methodology of murdering despot dictators while demeaning the honorable and patriotic heads and staffs of intelligence communities, the law enforcement system, the judicial system, and the free press, and you still support him. He reverses regulations designed simply to prevent your grandchildren from dying young for lack of clean water, clean air, nutrition, good health care for no other reason than to gain praise and probably kickbacks from the already rich and getting richer, and you still support him. He showers respect, props, praise, adoration, even love on foreign adversaries and enemies, while denigrating and dismissing historic and essential American allies, as well as foundational American pillars and keepers of our gates, as if they were subservient household staff in his assorted monuments, mansions, and other yet-to-be-paid-for palaces, and you still support him. Many of us have spent the better part of 3 years dissecting, debating, dealing with what we perceive to be a horrific, unprecedentedly dishonorable problem, Donald Trump. And we have, I'm here to tell you right now tonight, I'm speaking on behalf of everybody that feels the way I do. I'm honest to God, we've been wrong.
I don't know if everybody feels the way you do.
Those who feel the way
Okay.
I do, I'm speaking on their behalf. We have been wrong. Donald Trump is not the problem. The supporters are. They are. You are. I'm not speaking you specifically. I'm saying rhetorically when I say you, the yous I'm talking about, you still support him, those who still support him. And as we prepare, you guys, those who are, again, to whom it applies, as you prepare to wave your flag madly with your red cap and your Star-Spangled Banner on Thursday, we suggest that you remain true to the value system you seem to have adopted and put that flag somewhere else. And I got a couple of suggestions of where you should put it, okay? Patriots honor America in America. They do not honor supreme leaders with bad hair, baggy suits, and an inability to form coherent sentences. They do not honor supreme leaders who celebrate a nation's birthday with demands of parades of praise and adoration for themselves down Pennsylvania Avenue. And they most certainly do not honor real estate con men hustling carnival barkers with extremely bad self-image issues, skipping gaily 20 steps into North Korea, all schoolgirl giddy about having a new BFF with the monogram KJU. And they danced and they danced.
I could have danced all night, I could have danced all night, and still have begged for more.
That's a nice picture.
They're adorable.
Who wears the corsage?
Who holds the door? More importantly, the key question in the success of any relationship is based entirely on who sleeps on the wet spot. That's what I want to know. Not a day goes by. A friend of mine, a screenwriter lady who was living in L.A. and has recently relocated to Virginia for career purposes. She started this. She started this thing like 2 years ago. Hashtag every damn day.
Mm-hmm.
Every damn day it's something with this guy. Okay?
Well,
and it's amusing until it's not. And it's fun until it's not. And it's not for these reasons. I think about the kind of stuff where, and you know, when I start coming at it from the patriotic flag waving point of view, I love America. I love my country, et cetera, but I'm not one of those guys that you know, the whole thing with the outward stuff, all the trappings and wrappings and all that. I'm a little more laid back than that about it. Okay, it's a more subtle approach.
Right.
But when I start pounding the drum about patriotism, it's because I think about all the people who've lost their lives in this nation serving our country, and all the families of those people, and how they must feel about, you know, it's not, I went to an enemy and we found a way to bridge the gap and the world is a safer place because we firmly put our differences on the table and we're working hard. It's bullshit. He went over there to show off. He tippy-toed into North Korea. He tippy-toed back out again, and he's going to show that clip.
Well, they reopened negotiations about their nuclear restrictions. That was.
And if you are if you or anybody else for that matter, anybody wants to throw some dough my way, bring it. If you want to bet me hard cash that anything's going to come out of that ever to benefit the United States of America, put your money up, and I'll be happy to take it.
They're sitting down to the table to negotiate again. I don't know the outcome, but
I just said I know what the outcome's going to be.
Well,
put your money on the table. Let's go.
I know, and you and the rest of America said he wouldn't renegotiate NAFTA, which he did, which the Dems are holding up in Congress.
That's apples and oranges.
But still,
NAFTA doesn't want to take over the world. NAFTA doesn't want to throw their uncle into a pit. NAFTA doesn't want to conquer America. Okay?
Well, I don't think North Korea is going to conquer America.
I'm not saying they will.
They can't get a missile to shoot straight, but But yeah, that's like I said. If something comes of that, and if they're able to renegotiate the nuclear restrictions, then it was well worth the trip. If nothing does, then it was a waste of time.
What I'm hearing you say is that the end justifies the means. Is if the end turns out to be beneficial. To a certain extent.
I
would offer you, if that's the case, then we're done. We're done as a country.
Not necessarily, Scott. I mean,
I'm just telling you.
I mean, it's easy to wave patriotism, in the face of people that actually follow or believe in Trump. I'm on. Me, I'm on the fence. But you've got people on the far left. If you watch the debate, Scott, they're telling America that these immigrants on the border mean more than the American citizens.
I know. We've had this conversation.
I know, but that's
you and I agree. This is not. See, this is the thing. When we're splitting apples, okay, we can't put oranges in because that negates the conversation. I agree with that.
It makes fruit salad.
And this business that both sides are culpable and all the rest of those things are going on, that doesn't have anything to do with the President of the United States saying that we should do without courts, we should do without a free press. If he had his way, that's exactly what he'd do.
And that is what he would do.
And then he goes over.
That's bullshit,
And then he goes over and he's not showing a firm hand and a stern visage. He's not, and do your history. He's not John Kennedy in 1962.
He's not Ronald Reagan either.
Okay. He's not, and I use the reference. He's not John Kennedy telling Khrushchev, "Get the fucking missiles out of Cuba, or we're gonna smoke you." He's not that guy. They're BFFs. It's just wrong. RONG wrong.
Maybe the approach approach is different. Like I said, if he can get a deal, whether it's you'll have to work it out with yourself if you think it's worth it, but. If he's able to get a deal,
I know, I understand that logic. What I'm trying to tell you is, and this is where you and I are able to do this in a cordial way, but the way that most people end up doing it is it gets frustrating and even angering is because what either side is not hearing the other side to the point with this. I'm telling you, and the only way it's like being a parent. Not to go off a weird path here, but it's like, well, you don't have kids, but I'm telling you, when I was parenting in those years when I was actually parenting, there are times when you simply have to say to the kid, it's what is the episode of The Simpsons where Homer tells Bart not to put his hand on the flame, and so Bart goes, "Ow, ow, ow, ow," because the kid's got to figure it out. You can tell him 1,000 times, don't touch the fucking flame, but if you do, it's going to burn your hand. I'm telling you. Nothing is going to come of the things that Donald Trump is trying to do. He's only doing them for showboat purposes, but nothing's going to. The only way I can prove it for you is it's going to have to play itself out.
It's going to have to play itself out.
And I'll offer you something else, and then we'll need to move away from Donald for a little.
Will you wear a halter top if it does get approved?
Sure. Yeah. if what gets approved?
If they renegotiate the nuclear pact with North Korea.
No. What I will do, because that's bullshit anyway. They can see. This is what I'm talking about when I say that Trump's being played. They can promise him anything. They can show him a fucking contract that says, here's the Magna Carta, baby. We're willing to sign anything. They know that he's a shell with no substance. They know he's all hat and no cattle. They know that. They can promise him anything. They also know, if you think for a single second that the Chinese, and you're talking about how they're doing what they're doing, the Chinese, the Russians, the North Koreans, not only the adversaries, but even the allies who would kind of like to have the upper hand in the situation, they know exactly what they're doing. And you know me, I'm not a tinfoil hat guy. I'm not Chicken Little Skies Falling. I'm telling you, they know that he hasn't got shit for brains. They're making maximum use out of that. They can promise him anything because they understand a very basic premise of human psychology. They know what it is he wants. He doesn't want denuclearization in Korea. He doesn't give a fuck. What he wants is to be adored. and loved. And if they can hand him something that says, North Korea says it's going to denuclearize, he's going to get a Woody the size of the Washington Monument, and he's going to come running home to America to his drooling base and say, look what I did. Love me and adore me because this is what I've done. It's not worth the fucking paper it's written on. It's a scam.
Well, that remains to be seen, but
Well, I can't prove it to you until the time comes.
Right.
But that was by way of saying no. If he brings that home, I'm not putting on the halter.
Damn it.
I wore the
I'm
halter.
going to get you in a
I wore the
halter.
halter for you 3 times last month.
But I want everybody to see it.
All right, let's talk about something cheerful like, why radio sucks. How about that? All right, yeah, we'll see you.
I love Ethel.
All right, I thought twice about how I wanted to share this with you, and we've talked a little bit about it. You know what's going on. I just thought I'd make it like editorial style rather than just sound like I'm being sour grapish, and I'm not. In our area, there are basically, in the area where we broadcast, which is Delaware, there are basically 2, quote-unquote, 2 talk radio stations of any size or prominence. One is WGMD, and they're based out of Rehoboth Beach. The other is Delaware 105.9, which is based in the Dover area. I used to guest host pretty frequently on Delaware 105.9, and I actually did a Sunday night show for a number of months for a while on Delaware.
And I used to guest
You
host.
used to guest host, that's right. Well, I don't do that anymore, partly because I sort of backed out because it changed for me when Donald got elected, and the primary listening audience of 105.9 is Sussex County, Delaware. And
Which
Sussex
is red,
County, Delaware is red cap until they got red caps on top of their red caps, which is, okay.
Dual caps.
Knock yourselves out. But now, in recent weeks, in fact, in the last few days, they have, and this is just my 2 cents. I need a 2 cents thing. They have gone over to the dark side. Pretty much the whole potato. Because here's what's happened. They have pretty much eliminated their midday, and they're called on-air personalities, but that's a matter of opinion. Their midday hosts. For those who are aware of Delaware 105.9, Ed Till was on from, I think, 10 to noon or something, and then Susan Mundy was on from, anyway, Susan Mundy and Ed Till. Till quit, because I understand he had another gig somewhere and he left. They didn't replace him. And just this past week, Susan Mundy was let go.
Wow.
Yeah. Ironically enough, she had just previously in the week won an Associated Press Award for her insightful talk radio programming hosting, and then Friday they gave her the boot. But the reason... And
that happens a lot. Really.
Let me tell you. I can tell you stories. I tell young people getting involved in broadcasting, you cannot consider yourself a professional broadcaster until you've been fired at least 3 times.
Yes.
It's like Billy Martin and the Yankees. There's an old reference there, but go back on what I'm talking about. Basically, the station has not changed its format. It's still news talk, quote unquote, and predominantly political, obviously. They call themselves live and local, and that's a big thing in radio. And this is where I got my little fun phrase there. Radio killed the radio star. They are live now in the morning and in late afternoon. In the midday now, what's happening at that particular station, and I'm using that station as the example.
Syndication.
Syndicated programming. Their server network is an outfit called Salem Radio. If you happen to be a listener of 105.9, by the way, and you're listening to us or you're seeing this in rebroadcast, and you're going to find, if you didn't notice this past week or during this week, as you have, where the hell is Susan? Or those kinds of things that happen. I'm giving you the scoop. Go to their website and you'll see what I'm talking about. They've been taken over by another company. They've been sold to another company. And the parent satellite network of that company is an outfit called Salem Radio. And if you go to their website, it says right in big bold letters, conservative, which is a code word for stick up the ass, Christian-based, okay, which in talk radio is always a wonderful combination because you get a lot of free thinking, free.
So is that like a second stick up the ass?
Yeah. I don't want to piss everybody off tonight. Anyway, and the midsection of the day now, the broadcasting day, is syndicated, meaning live programming, but not from this area.
Right.
It's a nationally syndicated show.
Do you know who they're syndicating in those spots?
Yeah, it's on the website. I'm not familiar with them, but basically my read on what they do would be that they would be, shown the door and or the cross and the garlic if they got anywhere near CNN or MSNBC or CNBC, and they would be welcome wholeheartedly and probably give them blowjobs if they showed up at Fox News. That should tell you.
Fox is fake news now, too.
That should tell you. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the tone and tenor of what they're doing. It's hardcore, hard right, extreme right. You know, Donald, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Okay.
All right, you got to wear a cheerleading outfit. That's what we're going to have to do.
There's two things at play here, and it's in play in radio in general. One is people need to understand something, and I'm going to share that right now.
Okay.
Because I've done this. It's not just me blowing smoke out my various orifices.
Well,
Music radio, same way, but talk radio. They don't play commercials on talk radio in between segments of talk radio. You're hearing it that way. If you're a listener, you think you're hearing it that way, but that's not what's going on, because radio stations don't play commercials between talk segments. They play talk segments between commercials. Music radio doesn't play songs with commercial breaks. They play commercial stop sets with songs in between commercial stop sets. They're in business to make money.
Wait, yes, obviously.
Period. Okay? They don't give a shit. If Hawaiian zither music suddenly caught on, God help us all. But if Hawaiian zither music ever caught on, there would be a number of radio stations that would go all Hawaiian zither music all the time, and they would play that in between the commercial stop sets. Okay, this is America for the time being.
Well,
everybody wants to make a living, everybody wants to make a profit. That's fine. That's free enterprise capitalism as it should be. In talk radio, and especially in times of extreme, dramatic talk radio type stuff, I've always felt like, and I hate to use the word balance, because nobody really, we say we want balance, but we don't. We want our side to win, and we want our side to be the predominant.
You see, I'm not like that. I enjoy balance. My favorite moments are when Tucker Carlson has somebody extreme left on. You know what I mean?
You're making the point I'm headed for. I think when radio stations go all conservative or all liberal, that they're missing an opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, I
Not
agree.
only, and you know what? It's not even a kumbaya thing. I said that to somebody once, and they said, "Yeah, I know. You got to have all that. I hear your point of view, and you hear my point of view." And then I said, "No, I'm not talking about that." I said, "Okay, if that happens to stumble into it," I said, "I've been alive long enough and cynical enough to believe that's not going to happen very often anyway." What I'm talking about is you want sparks,
right?
Okay. Get Sean Hannity over there and have me sit over here, and you're going to have some fucking radio. It's going to spark, baby, because it's going to go. Point, counterpoint, Jane, you ignorant slut, the whole thing. It's just kind of unfortunate that, like so many other things, the main thrust now is play to the crowd, play to the choir, because what we're all about is making money. What we're all about is selling advertising. Same thing is true pretty much in everything else, but it has always been that way. Companies have always been in business to make money. That's what companies
profits
do.
Number one.
But there was always something along the lines of, we can do innovative. Go back to the glory days of TV news back in the 50s, all the major networks, the documentary kind of stuff they did, et cetera. It's like, we can do important issues and talk about them and have point counterpoint discussions and get our advertising dollars, and we can make money. We can find a way to do both in either or. Now it's like, I don't care. It's going to sell. And I have a feeling, and this is my not so, you don't have to be a genius to figure it out prediction, that with the advent of the technology that permits, like what we're doing right here, okay, we are technically being seen and heard all over the world.
Guerrilla radio.
From this luxurious studio right here in the middle of bumfuck Delaware nowhere. But the point being, okay, we don't have to kowtow or cotton to. We can do what we want to do, and we don't have to do to play just to the crowd, and we can, et cetera. And I think that's where the future certainly lies. It's the opportunities being lost by simply selling out for the. It's just too bad.
Well, here's the problem, and this is what I've seen. A company ties themselves to a point of view. Amazon will have a certain point of view. They're not going to advertise with a radio station that contradicts that point of view. Right. So if you want those large advertising dollars, you have to basically produce programming that reinforces what the company believes.
Did you see the headline this afternoon? The New York Times is eliminating political cartoons from their paper.
No, I did not.
Yeah. Now, don't even begin to start talking about censorship and Nazi Germany and all that shit the knee-jerkers are going to talk about. Let's talk about what that really means. that really means what we're talking about right there is that the New York Times is
one of their major advertisers,
zeroing in on a particular demographic in order to make the advertising dollars. And one of the hallowed traditions of newspapers, the editorial cartoonist that sticks the thorn in the politician's ass, is being shut down because it gets in the way of selling advertising.
Yes, yeah, and it's a shame that I would like to think if I owned a multi-million-dollar corporation, which I don't, but I would like to think I would be open-minded enough to say, hey, here's a program that actually encourages free thought both ways. Let's put our advertising dollars there. But no, I have a mindset, and I want the companies that I advertise with to reflect that mindset.
It also says something else, and it's one of those things that when it's said, it sounds like once again, here comes Mr. Glass half empty. But it's really true, and it bothers me because I wish it was wrong, or somebody could convince me that it's wrong. It just seems like more empirical evidence that I could use in court if I was prosecuting a case that says basically it's all about money, and enough now is no longer ever enough.
No, you're right. Enough money is never enough
for anybody. And when an entire country is geared that way, let alone the communities
or the world.
Yeah, and I only brought all this up as far as the relationship with 105.9 is concerned in this area because I went through a period, and I had the luxury when I was working over there, is because I was a freelancer and didn't need the gig full time. I was sort of at liberty to not have to kowtow to the corporate crapola as long as I behaved myself. But I used to giggle, the way you giggle when you hear me say Bush.
He said Bush again.
I said Bush again. No, I'm not going to do that. Live and local. You'll hear that a lot on the
Does that mean Jim Weller?
Yeah. For those who know who Jim Weller is, this will be fun, and the rest of you bear with me for 30 seconds. The funniest thing that I ever heard said about Jim Weller, and I didn't say it, I was hosting a show one night at 105.9, and one of the callers called in and said, we were talking about entrepreneurs and stuff like that. And he said, I just wanted to let everybody know out there that Jim Weller's got last year's flu shots on sale for $5. Okay.
That man knows how to make a dollar.
There's that. And, we'll be right back.
Get out my life, woman. Get out my life, woman. Get out my life, woman. Get out my life, woman.
All right, the magic of the graphics, there's a reason for that, and I don't want to exactly get into that. Just it's like a little puzzle, little clue thing. We're going to talk about that in more detail in just a few minutes. But right now, I thought it would be fun. We started out this evening, and I said we were going to talk about true love, and I sandbagged you with Kim Jong-un and his new BFF. But now I think it's time to really talk about genuine, absolute, committed
love.
Total and absolute love.
It's friendship, just perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forgiven.
Put up your dukes!
Ours will still be it. A-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
What the hell just happened?
Yeah, Ethel lost a little on the fade there. We gave her a few bucks to do the editing this week. You wanted to share some.
Yes,
some of the,
I wanted to.
Of the love affair that has taken over the nation's heartstrings.
Yes. And it's more dysfunctional than Sid and Nancy, and we all know how that one ended. Nancy Pelosi thought she had the backing of the Democratic senators late last week.
Okay.
With Chuck Schumer's the minority leader of the Senate for the Dems. She was trying to put through a more liberal border emergency fund bill. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, apparently every Democratic senator, 30-1, voted for the Republican bill.
Mm-hmm. Well, it shows they got spunk.
Well, and so all of a sudden, Nancy just has lost her mind, saying, Schumer's not got my back. He's, she thought she could trust him, but she went apeshit in the press.
Okay.
So basically, the bill was a $4.9 billion humanitarian crisis bill for the border to aid the agencies that are overwhelmed by the influx of Central American migrants. So when interviewed, Chuck Schumer said, you know what? It checked off a lot of the boxes that needed to be checked off as far as what the Democrats were doing. What Nancy wanted to do is just block whatever the Republicans are doing, which I applaud Chuck Schumer in this case, where, you know, he got something done. You know, good, bad, or otherwise, something got done. She was trying to block everything and then let them go on vacation, and no funding would have went down there to help. Okay, so this brought something to my mind. How many times did you hear the Democrats say that it's a fake crisis on the border that was created by Trump? Fear-mongering. It's an actual crisis. It's a fucking crisis that needs to be dealt with. Yeah. So I applaud Chuck Schumer for actually taking steps to do something. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a politician representing the people and you have a bill on your desk...
Well, okay, first of all, now that's an oxymoron.
Well, that is.
Okay.
Well, I said, you have a bill in front of you. Say you've got 12 boxes that you think need to be, 12 things need to be addressed. This bill addresses 9 of them. Are you going to shoot down the bill because nine out of the 12 things, the 3 things you wanted didn't get done?
That's a tough question. And I'm trying to answer literally and honestly and not take sides or say that I'm pro-Pelosi or any of the rest of that.
I'm not anti-Nancy or pro-Chuck. What I'm saying is, I'm just saying.
I don't see. Here's the thing. And this would apply no matter who's involved.
Okay.
This is why I was hedging on it, because I have this part of my brain that I know gets me in trouble, because it throws people a curveball because it doesn't fit into the line of fire that needs to be dealt with, and I'm mixing the metaphors here. Context is everything in everything, in life, in politics, in everything.
Right.
The literal answer from me to your question just now was, I don't know, because I don't know the rest of the story and what the context is. If there's 9 out of 12 things that were okay, but the other 3 things weren't, I don't know what those 3 things were. Were they considered absolutely essential key things? Were they just
apparently not, because 30 out of 31 Democratic senators voted for it.
Okay, so Schumer got something done and Pelosi got pissed off, and the wheel on the bus goes round and round.
Yes, but I mean, I wanted to point Schumer out because he gets a bad rap from Republicans, and I wanted to point out
his reputation has suffered when people found out that he's related to Amy Schumer, and a lot of people don't like Amy Schumer, but that's she brought that on herself.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
I mean, we need more aisle crossing to get things done, and it's not going on at all anymore.
Well, you just said it just went on.
Well, it just went on finally.
I'm only being persnickety because you give it credit where it's due, and it is going on. And then the other answer is the business about fake. See, again, everything is context, but everything also exists. And this is gonna. I need some Zen Buddha music in the background. Everything exists in the middle. The extremes, any extremism. Barry Goldwater was right in 1964, but it would be bullshit today. Any extremism is bad and wrong because extremism doesn't get you anywhere.
Right.
The childish metaphor I've used for years is that extremism is the equivalent of yanking a steering wheel all the way to the right or all the way to the left. If you do either one of those activities,
you go off the road. Yeah.
One of 3 things is going to happen. You're either going to go off the road to the right, you're going to go off the road to the left, or you're going to go around in circles. Or you're going to go off the ravine and Thelma and Louise, and you'll be dead, and then we'll all be happy. So everything is in the middle.
Right.
This is where bipartisanship comes from. This is where. And this is also why, not to throw another thing into the thing, this is why 3 years ago, when everybody was screaming and ranting and raving how those who we're talking about how great it is that Donald Trump was succeeding in the primaries, and by God, he was on the fast track to become president, and he wasn't a politician. I was that lone voice, well, not alone, but I was the lone voice in the Delaware area sitting on the radio on Sunday night saying, people, I want you to think about this for 5 minutes, okay? Government is politics.
Yes.
Governing is politicking.
Yes.
Okay? To say that you're excited because you want to put a person, especially in the highest office in the land, who's not a politician, is like saying, hot damn, boy, we got a brand new heart surgeon we're going to put in there. Son of a bitch ain't never seen the inside of no fucking medical school before. That's going to be fresh and new. Uh-huh. No. bipartisanship. I've said this. I used him as an example frequently in terms of character flaws. Going to ragging on what a morph mutation Donald Trump is. Let's go back and talk about Lyndon Johnson for 3 minutes, okay? Vain, egocentric, egotistical, probably sociopathic, certainly narcissistic, all those things, et cetera, but he'd been a politician all his life. He knew exactly how to do it. He knew how to shake hands, get the job done. He wasn't Narcissus, okay?
Right.
Personified. He knew how to get it. He was a politician.
Right.
He got a lot of shit done. When you want a house built, you hire a carpenter. You don't hire a heart surgeon to build a house and be excited because, all we ever get built in our damn houses is these carpenters. That don't seem to work. Doesn't that seem like common sense?
Yeah, when you put it like that, yeah.
Well, I don't know the other way to put it. But yeah, common sense. And this is why when we were talking about in different contexts, I said come next year, I think a larger number of people than we're even aware of,
based on that debate,
are going to show up. Well, that's, now is like spring training. Nobody's paying attention to that shit. They're just weeding people out. This is like, you know what it is?
I liked Marianne Williamson. She was batshit crazy.
Exactly. But you know what the debates are right now? And if there was a Republican side doing it, it would be the same way. But since it's like one Republican at this point and 72 Democrats, all that's going on here, the Democratic debates, and this is going to last, for my money, well into probably the very first of next year. The rest of this year, they're supposed to get together another 3-4 times before that.
Right.
What you're watching there, America, you're watching the audition tapes
of American Idol.
You're not watching the competition. You're watching the wackos, the weedos, pants on the ground, okay? Have fun. Enjoy. But don't take any of it seriously.
It was, she was so funny.
Well, this once
I loved her.
There you go. All right, we'll be back.
Love, Mr. President.
Ethel's got Cockney roots.
Yes.
She boogies, man. I hear, and you all right, honey? She stopped short there. You okay?
She's breathing heavy.
You stop short. You stop short. All right. She hurt herself, I think, on that. All right. It's, I forgot I had to do the Uncle Leo this week. I called you earlier in the week and I said, hey, man, give me the damn stick of the week. I got to do stick of the week. And you said, dude. And I said, oh, there you go. And having to do with our little blurb dealios that we've been doing for a while. The little graphics, and I said I would tell you what's going on with that. Let me just, without ado or embellishment, let me just show you who the stick of the week is right off the bat.
Daddy's home. Daddy's home to stay.
All right. You didn't get to see that because we're on the delay there with the broadcast. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, I saw that.
See that? Okay. Now, it's not Donald this week. He's not the stick of the week. The stick of the week is Ivanka.
I'll be your daddy.
And I'm going to tell you. That's right. I'll be your daddy. And I'm going to tell you why. A couple of graphics that were in the intermission thing since we've been going along tonight. And I got another one I want to show you right now, and then we'll do the thing here. This is extra artwork. Okay, you've seen the first two that were along. This is kind of what's going on too. This one is one of my favorites. Check this one out.
Come on down in my boat, baby. Come on down where we can play. Come on down in my boat, baby. Come on down, we'll sail away.
Okay, so the G20 summit was held over there in Europe and Asia and various other places this past week, going along with the North Korea visit and everything else that Donald was doing. And Ivanka went along for the ride, and I think Don Jr. was over there, and, all the little snuffleupaguses were over there doing their...
One of them wasn't.
Snuffletrumpleses.
Eric wasn't.
Eric, yeah, I think...
He was getting spit on in Chicago.
There is a God. And...
Now, that's not right, dude.
Nah, don't get me started.
That's not right.
No, it's not right, but I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When you incite people instead of inspiring people. Okay.
Right.
What's the Bible verse? He who troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. Okay. They bring that shit on themselves. It's unfortunate. It's all the things that in a normal context would be, oh my gosh, this is just unacceptable, etc. They have no one to blame but themselves.
A waitress spit on him and it's his fault?
I didn't say it was his fault. Okay, split the hairs if you want.
No,
Yeah,
but
yes, it is his fucking fault because they incite people. They purposely stir up shit. They incite people. They bring out the worst in people. It's ridiculous to be offended that somebody acts their worst when your sole function, for however long in the front it's been, is to bring out the worst. You want common sense? There it is.
I'm not buying that, and you don't buy that.
I
either,
absolutely
Scott.
buy.
No, you don't.
I absolutely no. Tell me, I do. You're injecting. You see, you're putting peanut butter in the chocolate when it's a non sequitur. It doesn't exist. If you make somebody mad,
right,
and they respond in anger. If you run face first into a wall and your nose is broken, is it the wall's fault? No. You ran into the fucking wall. If you incite people, if you appeal to or you denigrate to their worser angels, if you piss them off sufficiently, they're going to react in an angry way.
Yeah, and the people that are reacting, Scott, are the ones that are hurt by words. This is the problem with fucking America, dude.
No, that's
and you don't. Yeah, no, that's the problem with America, and you know it. You know it. The far left, they're fucked up as all get out, dude. I'm telling you. You know it.
I know, but I'll tell you something I noticed. Here's amateur psychology moment.
Okay.
Tonight's amateur psychology moment is brought to you by. You make a big case and you go out of your way, or at least I perceive that you think you go out of your way to believing that and agreeing when we talk about when you say there's always culpability to be found on both sides.
Yes.
But I have tonight, twice during this program, once during our conversation, casual conversation before we went on, you used an expression that you just used a second ago.
Again, yes.
The far left
are out of their minds.
I have yet to hear you say the far right.
Oh, they're definitely out of their minds.
You're not listening to me.
Okay.
I have yet to hear you say the far right about anything. There's a little Freudian going on there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're not saying they, extremists, it's always the far left. It's always the far left. You may want to think that you're being fair and balanced in your brain about it, but what's coming out of your mouth is far left. And I'm not defending the far left. What I'm saying is...
the far right aren't spitting on people in restaurants, Scott.
How do you know that?
Well, I think it would be
make the news.
It would be on the news if it happened.
When you incite people,
don't you think the way the news is liberally slanted, it would be on the news if that happened?
No, not necessarily. Maybe they didn't catch it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, and you can't know that either. That's one of those things that's like, you know, this is.
But what I do know is Eric Trump got spit on at a restaurant by a waitress.
Yeah.
Okay. What would anybody deserve or do to deserve that?
What is it that makes you think that these people, and by these people I mean Eric Trump, Don Trump Jr., Donald Trump, okay, what makes you think that they have the right, what makes...
the right to not be spit on?
No. Listen to me.
I'm listening to you.
No, you're not. You're interrupting
Okay,
me.
I'm sorry.
You're giving them or affording them or awarding them or allowing them, using any word you want, as if they are entitled to the privileges of being treated in a cordial, civilized, polite, gracious, manner, when they, in fact, okay, what it is it's a case of saying that they're entitled to have it both ways. They don't get it both ways. You don't piss people off. You don't insult. You don't anger. You don't slam John McCain. You don't call people little Marco. You don't denigrate, dismiss, treat people like shit. You don't talk about Democratic candidates. Well, she's not really a black woman. You don't piss people off and then turn around and be offended when they treat you in a manner that indicates that they're pissed off.
Sticks and stones.
Oh, come on.
Words, Scott. Words and spit are two different fucking things. And if you don't see that, I don't know what to say to you tonight.
It's not what I see. It's what I see other people are capable of doing or not doing. You, and this is ironic given that it's you and me sitting here.
Right.
You're giving an extraordinary amount of credit to humanity as having the capacity in larger numbers than is apparently obvious to rise above it, take the high road, and not spit on somebody. I'm saying, who the fuck, where you been, boy? This is not how people operate. There are a lot of people, you piss somebody off, they're going to spit on you. Okay? Should they? No. Is it kind? No. Is it gracious? No. Is it proper? No. But you pissed them off, so they spit on you. Well, they could have risen above it. They could have turned the other cheek. They could have done the right thing. What planet are you living on? People don't do that. That's always the exception, not the rule. I'm not talking about how I respond. I think all of it is horribly offensive.
Well, it is horribly offensive to me.
But from an intellectual, psychological POV, what I'm saying is it's just simple psychological math. When you piss somebody off, when you go out of your way to piss somebody off, you don't get a free fucking pass on the consequences of pissing people off.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But yet we have to transgender. We have to watch our words, but they can spit on a conservative. They can storm Tucker Carlson's house when his wife and kids are in there. He's not even home. They can harass people in restaurants that are conservatives.
Let me ask you.
I'm asking you, is this right?
I've already, if you're not hearing me,
no, I'm hearing you.
That I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm trying to explain to you why it happens, and here's how I need to try to come at this from now.
Okay.
Do you or do you not agree that inciting people to anger or to angry behavior, okay, inciting them by insult and denigration and all those things that go along, that those things have consequences?
Sometimes, yes.
Why are you qualifying it? Do they or do they not have consequences? You're either pregnant or you're not. There's no such thing as a little bit.
They should have consequences, but they don't often. That's why I said sometimes.
Getting spit on when you've insulted somebody, or you've gone out of your way to say things and do things that will cause them to hate your living fucking guts, and they want to spit on you. I'm not condoning the spit. What I'm saying is the consequences of your actions, the consequences of your denigrations, the consequences of what form it takes. Now, in the it's the old business. It's like Sean Connery in the Chicago way. Turn the other cheek. Well, okay, or let's have polite fisticuffs. Or what was the other movie that I'm flashing on? The Patriot, the one with Mel Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
The wonderful scenes where, the British in those days, well, there's rules of war. Is there anything more fucking ridiculously paradoxical than the rules of war?
Yes.
This is kind of what I'm talking about. This is the premise, okay? So what should was Eric who got spit on?
Yeah.
What consequence should there be for Eric being able to say whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and incite the level of anger that he incites with his arrogance and his commentaries and all the things that he does? What should the consequences be? Oh, Eric shouldn't say that. Naughty, naughty.
I tell you what the consequences shouldn't be. He shouldn't be spit on at a restaurant by a waitress.
Well, you're a polite guy. But that's not. There are times when it's.
Apparently Eric's a polite guy too because he didn't press charges, which he probably should have. So there.
No.
Yes.
No. Again.
Yes.
No. You're. I'm not saying that he didn't. What I'm saying is you're mistaking what I'm saying to you once again as my endorsing the spitting. I'm not. Okay. Are you getting me?
I know that you are not endorsing it.
What I'm explaining to you is that when you trouble your own house, you're going to inherit the wind. In this particular case, it took the form of being spit on. Well, that's too bad. But it's kind of like, doctor, she spit on me when I did that. Well, then don't fucking do that.
Yeah, it's society. It, as I said before, dude, the restaurant shaming and people, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, dude, you shouldn't have to be harassed when you go out. You really shouldn't.
Okay. What's Eric's responsibilities? What shouldn't he have to do? What shouldn't he do?
I don't know that he's done anything.
Now, see, this sounds like you had a big glass of Kool-Aid before we came.
No. I mean, what has he done?
What has he done?
What has he done?
He has denigrated. He has dismissed. He has spoken. He has been provocative, insulting, privilege. He's an obnoxious little spoiled rich fuck. He's just like his father. They think they can say whatever they want to any time they want. Let's get the list. We can spend a half an hour and go online and find all the obnoxious things that he's said. Okay. That question just sort of makes me short circuit because I go, what are you talking about? What's he said? You've read the tweets and the news stories as much as I have, the crap that they spew. I'm answering your question.
Saying they. I'm asking what he did. What it specifically did he say that he earned being spit on?
I don't know.
So
maybe he just had the misfortune of being the son of Donald Trump, who's one of the most obnoxious fucking human beings on the planet. Well, that's life. That's the way it goes. I wish that he hadn't gotten spit on either. I wish we were all capable of rising above it. But more than that, I really wish that those who are put in the position of prestige and authority and power and influence in our society would conduct themselves in a manner where it would call upon people's better angels instead of turning loose the demons.
I wish they would as well.
Cause people to overreact and spit.
I wish Donald Trump was more inspirational. I wish he was more Obama-like in the way he carried himself. Obama carried himself very well as a president.
Okay.
But that's not the reality that we're living in right now. So we have to adjust the way we live to the reality that we're living in.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck with that.
You don't believe that?
I believe it's the ideal scenario. I do. Because I'm an idealist underneath it. I'm what you call, I said one time, somebody asked me, they said, you're very cynical. And I said, yeah, that's true. I said, but I'm also the guy that wrote this definition of cynicism. And I said, if you hear it anywhere else, remember I made it up. You know what a cynic is? A cynic is a hopeless romantic who understands the way life fucking works.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Okay. People, when, some people can rise above it. Some people can turn their cheek. Some people can't. A lot of people. And when you stick a stick in somebody's eye, they can either forgive you, or they could angrily take the stick away from you, or they could do some sort of, or they could curtsy and not return fire, or rules of war, or they could spit.
Yeah,
it's just the way it goes.
I just know no matter how liberal or how far right, ultra psycho religious, because I've run into a lot of those as well. Mm-hmm. I've never felt like treating somebody.
No, but you're a classy guy.
And
here's a newsflash for you. There's not a lot of fucking classy people in the world.
Yeah, but that just irritated the shit out of me.
I couldn't tell. You did a good job of hiding it.
That really irritated me. And then, as I said, the Tucker Carlson thing bothered me because his kids and family were inside, and I have satellite relationships with them because his kids went to school with my partner's kids, and
I agree.
And that's just horrible, dude. That's horrible.
I agree.
But
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you that I endorse the what. What I keep trying to do is I keep trying to explain to you the why.
And I'm not buying the why. I'm not.
There is no other why. The what can be argued all day long, and the justification. And I'm not. Again, don't mistake why. Okay, I'm talking about, when I say why, I mean the cause.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean the why as in the rationalization or the justification or the endorsement. I mean the why as in the cause. Why did the house burn down? Because the guy lit a match and put it to a piece of paper in the mattress.
Why did the she shed burn down?
That's wonderful news. That's the why I'm talking about.
Right.
Okay.
By the way, my mom is turning Dad's den into a she shed.
Keep her away from the matches.
I'm horrified.
Keep her away from the matches, because that'll be that. All right, I got two more of these things I got to show. This is fun. Watch this one.
Is it the Abbey Road?
What? I thought that was one of the more creative and clever memes that came along.
You can put her anywhere near me.
Okay, Donald.
Daddy's home. Daddy's home.
All right, we need some sense of humor. Let's do rim shots.
Oh.
Don't make me spit on you. All right. I don't want it to resort to that.
I don't like that.
All right. We're actually running a little overtime tonight, but what the hell?
We're
not
we
corporate
have
radio.
no
We don't
rules.
count out anybody. What the fuck?
We don't operate on those sticking rules.
Right, before I do rim shots, did you have something?
I had one. Yeah. Did you know we're going to the moon again? Did you see that?
I certainly hope so.
Yes. Actually, what is it? Orion space capsule. They were testing it.
Uranus, did you say?
They're testing it for a lunar orbital flight in 2020 and a manned flight in 2022.
Where I thought we were going right on to Mars, which everyone knows the moon is part of.
Well, that's true. I mean, if anybody knows astrology.
Virgo, Libra, Consuelo, come and let me. What am I thinking of? Kokomo.
Kokomo.
There it is. You know, we could do 20 minutes on this. Maybe next time we'll talk about space. In our we're like alcoholics, and I understand, and I am alcoholic, and I will tell you, I understand the psychology of this. I really, honest to God, do. Every week we come in here, I say, you know what, I want to sit down. We're going to talk about Donald. That's inevitable because it's the elephant in the room,
right.
and there's all that kind of stuff going on. But I say to myself, you know what, I'd like to have a nice, 70-30, 65-35 mix, and then we'll throw in 30 or 35, and we'll do some other stuff. We end up doing hour and 32 minutes of why the fuck Eric gets spit on, and if they just stop being the assholes that they are, everything would be okay. But,
you're a mess, man.
But in that spirit, let me say, the space program, I'm one of those people that is the fact that we went to the moon 50 years ago, in fact, in about 2 weeks, the 50th
anniversary. Mm-hmm.
I'm all about it. That was my generation's thing, man. I mean, I was
what Kennedy
watching
said.
Little black and white TV sets, and I watched John Glenn's rocket take off. I was 11 years old.
I was 5.
There you go. I was 18 when Armstrong set foot on the moon and screwed up the saying. He was supposed to say.
I was 5.
Oh, okay. There we go. Say hi to Mike the next time you talk to him. Are you supposed to be a rehearsal now or something?
I might have forgot we have to rehearse tonight.
Okay. He's calling in to tell he's calling in to explain to you why Eric got spit on and how these things are going to happen as long as hatred stirs.
It should not happen.
And I never said it should.
I'm
just saying
I'm going to run for president with a no spitting 2020
I think you
platform.
Should. Well, here's your theme music. Okay. Shut up. Stop play. I got to let it play all the way through. I got it set on play. Where were we? Oh, rim shots. All right. Little shots, and then we'll say goodbye and good night, and God bless us, and thank you all for putting up with this. But it's scintillating conversation.
We had a good time.
We're not finished yet. Okay, here's tonight's, where's the rim shot? There it is. All right, little short shots. Research says, this was interesting. Research says that an octopus's arms make decisions independently from their brain. Marine biologists are referring to this as the Joe Biden phenomenon.
I was just thinking that.
Great minds. And you didn't have to spit on me to make it happen.
Oh, wow.
All right, here's one for the ladies.
I'm spitting on you soon as we're off the
ladies,
air.
You've been spitting on me all night. Painful periods. Say that 3 times fast.
Painful periods.
Peter Patterson's big book. Painful periods cause women to lose 9 days of productivity each year.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I never forgot what my granddaddy told me a long time ago. He said, Scotty, call me Scotty. Always, always give women the respect they deserve because no other creature on the planet can bleed for 5 days and live.
Mm-hmm.
God bless you, ladies. There's a new illness. Oh, good. It's called crypto. It's with a C, not a K. Crypto with a K was the name of Superboy's dog.
Yes.
For all of you dun-dun-dun out there.
Superboy.
This is crypto with a C. It is a diarrheal. That means it causes diarrhea.
Nice.
Diarrhea.
I think I had that yesterday.
It is swimming related. And it's been pretty prolific, and that's nice.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's okay. Well,
didn't they say it could live in pools for like a couple days?
Well,
the bacteria
we're having a pool put in the new house, so I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. There is the old joke from the little sign on the side of the deck there that says, "Don't pee in our pool. We won't swim in your toilet." I understand submissions for a new catchphrase are now being accepted, and you may use the rhyme words poo, poop, crap, shit, or if you're especially clever explosive. All right. Experts say that cockroaches are quickly evolving to be immune to bug sprays.
Yes.
And
Keith Richards.
immune to subpoenas. Let's not forget subpoenas. And don't say Kellyanne Conway and cock anything in the same sentence. And before we go, I got one last fun little, this doesn't even have any music, but I wanted to show you this. This is the last of the very clever memes that the people were coming up with all week long to insert Ivanka into the process.
Mm-hmm.
The hashtag, of course, all week long has been hashtag unwanted Ivanka because she's where she doesn't really need to be, and she's kind of like horning in on all this stuff. I think she's up for UN ambassador again.
Nice.
As the case may be. But this particular one, there it is. It's the Last Supper, and
I saw that one.
Isn't
yes.
it nice?
That is nice.
There she is.
I'm disappointed you didn't use Abbey Road.
Well, I only had a certain number of slides, and you know what? I'll tell you why I didn't, and it was just a subjective opinion. Abbey Road has been parodied and parodied and parodied.
That is true.
And I just thought, these were a little different. I thought the one of her on the plane where Johnson was being sworn in 2 hours after Kennedy had his head blown off, that was kind of cool. A little bit different.
With the spotted dress, yes.
Yeah, there you go. And nobody yet has done it. And I said to you, first
lawn
prize
chair,
should go
yeah.
putting her in the lawn chair with Christie. Or better yet, having her sit in Chris Christie's lap in the lawn chair.
Dude, the best one I have ever seen was the royal wedding with the family picture, and Chris Christie was in the lawn chair.
These are the things.
These are things we live for.
And our buddy didn't say anything.
Denny Crane.
There you go. All right. So I think we'll be back on Wednesday next week.
Yes, Wednesday next week.
All right. In the meantime, if you'd like to slough through this program again for whatever purposes you have, it will be available on YouTube and on Facebook probably tonight, no later than like start of business tomorrow. Anything else?
You can catch it on Podomatic.
Yeah. Okay. That's fun. You're a funny guy.
Blowed up good. Blowed up real good.
All right. Well, as we like to say each and every week at the end of the show and at my weekly Spitters Anonymous meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for joining us for the Blab.
We appreciate it.
See you next time.
The Blab